plus, minus, and then our target is 100 and we got 90. Why we did not achieve 100? So they explained why. And then the president said, what's the reason? So maybe private sector complained that because the duans, some tariff authority delayed the process. Then the president told the minister, say, well, you should do this and that. So that kind of maybe communication proved to be very maybe efficient. So this is the real picture of the export promotion meeting. So I think the president was sitting here. This is all the private sector leaders. This is all the ministers. So somebody reports our export figures, and then we achieved 95 million, something like that. And then so the president say our target is 100 million. So why you missed 55 million? Why? And then private sector complains and this and that, and then they could correct some policy measures, and then on the spot. So I think that worked in some aspect. So it provides a lot of incentive for the private sectors to invest and work hard, and as a result, our savings, our investment rate has increased very rapidly. Also, our savings also increased. I think we could try to develop a very efficient banking system so that our domestic saving can be accumulated to the banking account, so that the money can be invested in the domestic infrastructure or factory and other. So if you depend too much on foreign savings, it creates some vulnerability of your society and economic development. So maybe developing the domestic saving also is very important element for economic development. So also we did some green revolution. So we did a lot of new innovation of the variety of the rice, so that the yield can increase significantly. So we had some green revolution. So we used to import a lot of rice. We live on rice. But during this green revolution, our yield per hectare has increased, and then we could become self-sufficient as long as rice is concerned. And so it saves foreign exchange, and as well as we could be more free from the risk of the price fluctuation of the grains. So this gives us some picture of the rural areas, and then they have a lot of efforts to develop pave the road which leads to their village, so that they could develop more mechanization of the farming process. We used to have a lot of hands farming. Now we start to introduce some machineries during that period, which leads to the higher productivity. So this is some change of the countryside. So this gives you some trend of the economic development during the 4 years. So we had export-led growth, and then we have a heavy and chemical industry drive, so mostly manufacturing oriented. And then we had some stabilization process, and then we have some globalization process. We open up the market, and then we could enter, I will call it knowledge economy. I will explain later. Some of the lessons I want to highlight is that we try to achieve growth as well as the equity, and then leadership played a very important role. And we have a vision sharing and then political stability. And then we promoted entrepreneurship. Government-funded R&D budget. It hovers around less than 0.3 or 0.4 for GDP. And then it starts to increase until in the early 1980s. So it goes to around 1% before the private sector starts to respond. So there's some big time gap. So you, as a country, Costa Rica, you have to think about, you might feel that investment in R&D by the government budget is can be proven inefficient because there's no response from the private sectors, but it has a delayed response. So that is some mechanism you have to keep in your mind, that how you define the role of the private sector as the government sector in R&D budget spending. But these are the characteristics you need. But can government provide and achieve these goals at the same time? Probably very difficult. But to be provide a good innovation center, you need all of them. So this has to be more holistic approach. You have to have these characteristics in place, for example, in Costa Rica, in a very short period of time. If we don't become the innovation cluster, probably your neighbor will be a cluster, maybe innovation center, and it might be more and more difficult to compete with already established innovation center. So there's a limited window because you need probably one cluster, one innovation center in Central America. Probably maximum two, probably one. So you need, because when you want this, you will face a lot of resistance. For example, if you want to change your education system, probably you will see a lot of resistance from the teachers union or Ministry of Education. So, for example, if you say, I want to change the education system 334, what kind of response do you expect? A lot of resistance. So how can you handle that resistance and make a change? So one solution is that instead of changing the existing institutions, you can develop some clusters, start a new center so that you can, from the scratch, so that you can be more implementable. So those are the examples of how you develop the clusters. For example, this is Intel. Intel has several maybe products. There's a software company who provides some softwares. Or there's some packaging company who provides some materials to the Intel. So this is an industry cluster, and then there is some R&D center provides some know-how to the packaging companies, and then you develop another cluster, so you link it. That is your cluster strategy. Some framework for clusters, you need some strategies and then infrastructures. Strategies, I mean, the clustering. You have to develop the knowledge absorption capacity for the workers, and then networking, also important. To make this feasible, you need investment in the infrastructures, such as physical infrastructure, and then public governance system, and also the institutional arrangement. And those things are areas where the government should work hard. So I just skipped this part. This is a Korean Council for Competitiveness. Okay, I just skipped this part. So let me jump on to the Costa Rica case. I look at some statistics. This is the PPP adjusted GDP. So Costa Rica is around maybe $7,000 range. And then your gross average, moving average growth is around 3%. So you are around average of all the economies in the world. So around the center. Korea is here. So we have a little higher maybe growth rate. And then the other familiar case is that Czech Republic is here. And then so you have to Malaysia here. And then, so you have to go this direction. How can you go? So I look at this data from your, I think the CPC provides some this data or some economic planning agency provides. So you have to think about some issues. How you provide the infrastructure? What is the sequence of providing the infrastructure? Highway, ICT investment. So how you finance it? And then those are the issues you have to maybe have a deep thought. Or business, how do you develop the business academia research link? where should I put the innovation clusters? In San Jose or in the East Coast or West Coast? So that is the issue, which should be carefully designed. So those are the some topics I just wanted to talk about. Since I'm just out of my time, so let me finish my presentation at this moment, and then if there are some answers or questions, I'll be more than happy to entertain those questions, and then I will just return to the chairmanship. Thank you.